My name is Andy Junkin, but all my friends call me Bob Caygeon or Caygeon. And that's because I'm a seventh generation farm boy from a little town called Bob Caygeon, Ontario, Canada. And when I went to college, there was never a farm kid more passionate about where he was from or more hell-bent to carry on a family tradition. That's why I got the nickname Bob Caygeon or Caygeon. And the thing is that the first white man killed in our county was on the back end of our farm. He was my ancestor. And I grew up always thinking that he died so I could have the right to farm. And I found out the hard way that nobody has a right to farm as a privilege. In fact, only 12% of family farmers are able to successfully transfer grandma's farm to their grandchildren. You know, farming is a privilege, not a right. And what caused and unfortunately, I live in Iowa now. And what caused my family to be successful in farming our ground, which is really tough, stony land back in Bob Caygeon for 7 generations, is the fact that we were stubborn people. But what caused my farm to ultimately fail is that we were a stubborn people. And for the last 15 years, I've been hell-bent to turn the word stubborn from a bad thing to a good thing for family farms, right? I've helped farms in 22 states and 5 Canadian provinces and developed a whole different philosophy of farm management and farm succession planning. Essentially, 15 years ago, I started off as a mediator. My life goal is to get rid of the need for a mediator altogether by getting farm families to stop being stubborn with each other and start being stubborn at the habits that make a farm and a farm family successful. Essentially, what I do is take how a farm family works together from good to great. I developed a whole different approach to farm management. I don't have time in a 3-minute video to explain it to you. This is my 5th book. I've written 6 books. I'd be happy to send this to you in the mail. It takes less than an hour to read, and it'll completely change your perspective on things. And, you know, it cost me $5 to print this book. If it improves the odds of your family still farming together in 50 years' time, that's what I'm all about. And, you know, this is not wishy-washy stuff. You think about this. Anything you can do to take a farm family from button heads and pulling the farm different directions to getting everybody on the same page and everybody pulling in the same direction. Anything you can do to improve the quality of decision-making. That's what's going to skyrocket your farm's profitability. And more importantly, all that butting heads goes by the wayside and farming with the family becomes fun again. But don't listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to what you know. We all know that farming is a game of economies of scale. Okay, so let's take 2 family farms. Let's say that they have the same they have multiple generations, multiple siblings, right? They all farm the same commodities. One's worth $40 million in assets. One's worth $5 million, okay? Now, the $40 million farm has a slight competitive edge as far as buying power, right? But let's say that the $40 million farm, they're stubborn, but not in a good way. They just keep on doing what they're doing. They don't want to change, and they just keep doing what they're doing. But the $5 million farm, they get exposed to my concept. They get the book, and they just completely change how they do things. And they go from button heads to pulling the farm in different directions to getting everybody on the same page and get everybody pulling the same direction. Now, my question to you is this. Let's assume that for the next decade, the farmer, 6 out of 10 years, the farmer economy is rough, right? It's in the gutter, right? And there's several years where the cost of production is higher than what they're getting paid by the markets. My question to you is this. Which farm is going to be able to survive? And which farm is going to be able to make the changes to their operation efficiency so that they can get past and survive and thrive in those economies? The farm that's worth $40 million today, but every decision they're bickering and pulling the farm different directions, or the family that's able to go from button heads to getting on the same page and pulling the same direction. Essentially, they problem solve how they problem solve, and as a result, they can get past any crisis. My second question to you is this. Which family is going to be able to do succession planning? We all know that 77% of farms do not have a succession plan. What folks don't realize is that it's not because they haven't had a succession planner come out to the farm. It just means that 77% of the time, the succession planner left the farm saying that family's too damn stubborn. Which farmer is going to be able to do succession planning in this scenario? The family that's bickering over every decision, everybody's butting heads and pulling the farm in different directions, or the family is able to make good decisions together and everybody's pulling the same direction? My third question is this. Which farm do you want to work on for the next decade? My name is Andy Junkin, and I help stubborn farmers work better together. And let me change your perspective on farming, and let's improve the odds of your family still farming together in 30 years' time. You take care and God bless.